Hey guys, welcome back. So I want more bass out of my car, but I don't want to compromise any space in the trunk. So I picked up these Earthquake SWS 8-inch subs. They are actually upgrades to the factory subs that are under the front seats. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to lift the seat as high as it can go. I want to back it out first so I can undo the two mounting bolts for the seat rails to the floor, then roll it forward and knock out the two bolts that are on the back. They're all the same size. And then I'm going to prop the seat back forward and then tip the entire thing over because the subwoofer is directly under the seat. And I found 62 cents under the seat. Haha! Now that we have access to the subwoofer, before I go in there any further, I want to go ahead and use a vacuum and clean up as much as I can. Okay, now that we're clean, we can go ahead and remove this cover. This cover is held on with 4 T20 screws. Here's a factory subwoofer, and it too is also held on by 4 T20 screws. Don't be afraid to pull on the carpet to get access to those. Here's the factory one, as is mounted on the car with the connector towards the back of the car, and see here the underside. So this is actually a fixed position. Like, this does not move here. The subwoofer actually fires downward. The new one from Earthquake actually fires upward. So, and it does say on the box that it has up to a 1.5-inch travel in both directions. So this thing will actually can come as high as this here. So that already tells me I'm not going to be able to use the cover, which that's okay. This is under the seat. I don't care. So here's the thing. Note with these that the connectors are on this side. How do I get the factory harness, which is just a plug connector here, to connect to these here? That is where this comes into play. This is a spacer that is required to mount these subs in place. Again, because of the so much travel that they have, it would otherwise bounce against the box. So we're actually going to cut the factory connector. We're going to strip the wire, and then we're going to run them in here. Once the factory harness is connected on these ends, we're going to go ahead and connect the small one to the ground on the sub, and the large one to the power on the sub. All right, note that the connector is actually secured in place to the subwoofer box back here where my middle finger is. You just got to lift that up, and then you'll have a little more flexibility. We're gonna pull back this insulation, and then we're gonna make our cut right about here. So that way we can go ahead and strip those wires and get them ready. All right, so just remember, the one with the brown stripe, that's ground. One with the red stripe, that's power. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and vacuum out all of this, and then I'm ready to install the subwoofer. All right guys, so here is the final install. You see everything is looking good, everything is nice and tight. And I want to give you guys a heads up, it was not fun to try to get the cables into the push terminals here, but they got in there. So we're good, we got a good solid contact there. That's really my only recommendation for you guys. Just be aware that that's not fun to make that connection because of limited space and limited flexibility on the cable. But once they're in there, you're good. Now, something I will tell you guys is that make sure that when you put these subs in, you turn down your gains. If you have your bass turned up on the settings on the radio and on the equalizer, if you have the 100 Hertz frequency and 200 Hertz frequency turned up, turn them down before you start bassing out, especially if they're new. If they're new, all subwoofers require a break-in period, so you definitely don't want to go hard on them if you're buying them brand new. I bought these used, they're 6 months old, and so I didn't have to worry about that, but I did have to turn down all my bass because I did have them cranked up with the factory subs. They were starting to pop when I was cranking up the volume in it, and typically when a subwoofer pops at high volume, it's because there's too much power going to them. So I remember this and I went into the settings and I did see that, oh yeah, I have all this stuff turned up. So I turned it all down to the middle. Not, I'm not taking away, I'm just dead at the middle for both the bass, and on the equalizer, the 100 and 200 frequencies, I turned them down to the middle settings. At that point, they sound great. I wish I could show you, but unfortunately all my testing songs are definitely not copyright approved, so I will definitely get flagged for them. But take my word for it, they are dang good. This is not a sponsored video. I did buy these used on a forum. With all that said, I'm going to go ahead and finish up the driver's side. I'm going to do the passenger side off camera, and I'll get back to you in a few days after I finish tuning the subwoofers.
Hey guys, so it's been about a week since I installed the subwoofers, and so I've been driving the car every day, and little by little I've been making adjustments to the equalizer and the bass gain, and I have to say that now that it's all finally tuned, I am very happy with how they sound. They definitely fill the cabin with a lot more bass. It's not just the punch of the bass, but it's the punch and the tone that fills the entire bass line of a track. And man, it sounds so much better now. I'm very happy with it. Now obviously I can't show you guys how they sound because I mean it's so subjective between the level of the microphone or the phone, or my microphone when I wear it, and your speakers on there. It's kind of useless, to be honest, to be able to compare before and after on it. But what I can do at least is show you how I did my tuning process. And basically what you do is you turn the bass down all the way and the equalizers in the bass frequencies all the way down, and then you turn your volume up to the highest volume to which you listen to music. And once you get to that point, you slowly start turning up the bass frequencies on the equalizer until you get to a happy point. You're trying to basically find the medium point of where the music sounds good to where you want it, but you're not overpowering the speaker, causing it to pop. So you want to, it's basically finding a medium point, and that's why it takes a little bit. So I'll show you now what settings I have it at now. All right, so with the factory one, I actually had the bass gain here all the way up to the max. And even then, these speakers are able to produce more sound than the factory ones at basically 1/3 of the gain there. So that's the bass gain, but here's the equalizer. The equalizer on 100 and 200, I basically had them like one click off of the max gain here. Look at where they're at now, basically dead at the middle. And at this point, again, I am able to put out more sound, more bass sound than the factory ones did with half the power. So yeah, these speakers are incredible. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned how to do your subs, and I hope that the tuning process helps you tune your own subwoofers. If that's the case, please give me a like, consider subscribing, and of course, like I always say, more projects coming your way. Thank you.